Hello, this is Joe from Nerd in Korea. We are continuing our budget Mardu series, looking at budget card draw for Mardu. We're looking at white creatures with some card draw on them. So this is getting into very useful Mardu territory. Okay, first up, what do I mean by budget? I mean $2 or less according to the TCG market value. As always, I'm going to stick to that pretty closely, and not a sponsor. TCG's not a sponsor. And why use these? These are most broadly applicable, so I think they can go in almost any white deck. Could make use of these. So a lot of mono white actually I think would do well with these, but anyway. Putting these in any deck will provide some advantages, and our next video will be on niche ones, alright? So ones that are really good but in specific decks. These are kind of put them in any deck and they'll do the work kind of thing. Okay, first up, I think this is the most well-known card on the list. I only included this one because the value has dropped so much. The price has gone down a lot on this. I'm pretty sure this was like $10 at one point. I picked this up for one of my decks actually, Mangara the Diplomat. Okay, so it gives you 2 triggers that you can draw cards off of. So we actually did an opponent trigger video as well, and this has 2 opponent triggers. It's on 1 card. That's pretty amazing. So first up, whenever an opponent attacks with creatures, if 2 or more of those creatures are attacking you, draw a card. So if you get attacked with 2 or more creatures, draw a card. That's going to happen, right? That is going to happen for sure. And whenever an opponent draws their second card each turn, draw a card. Especially if you're looking at like Commander or something, people are going to have extra card draw options like this. If someone else has a Mangara and somehow it gets triggered and they draw a card, you're going to draw a card because Mangara drew a card. Anyway, $2 for that one. Lady of Laughter, okay. First of all, she's a flyer and a 4/5 flyer. That's quite good. Right out of the gate, I'd say just as a creature, she's, decent. Not a lot of flyers other than dragons usually have that high of attack and toughness, alright? Anyway, she also has Celebration at the beginning of your end step if 2 or more non-land permanents. Again, non-land permanents. So it doesn't matter if it's artifact, it's artifact, enchantment, creature, whatever. If you had 2 or more come in on your turn, on your end step, draw a card. This is very easy to trigger. So I like this because people look at it and go, I'm not too worried about that. It's only 1 card and there's a trigger attached to it. It's a very, very easy trigger, and 1 extra card per turn is actually, it adds up very quickly. People, I think, get very focused on things, like my example is always Ristic Study, where, you're going to draw a whole bunch of cards, but if you draw a whole bunch of cards and it gets removed pretty quickly, maybe you drew like, let's say 4 cards off of it. This is going to draw the 4 cards and probably not get removed. I think if you actually count up how many cards are drawn off of something like Lady of Laughter or Ristic Study in multiple games, this will probably win because people aren't trying to kill it. They're not going to use removal on something that's like draw 1 card is not really a target for removal. Anyway, 25 cents. Okay, this one's more interesting, I think. Prowl? Okay, Prowl Stoic Strategist. Anyway, Transformer That's already a win right there. If you're an 80s kid, you might even remember the show. I remember the show. So it does allow you to cast it cheaper if you're casting it on its other side, which does not have the card draw, but you might want anyway. I think this is an amazing card in general. So whenever it attacks, exile up to one tapped creature or vehicle, okay? So this is great because it does have flexibility. It can target, you can exile a creature or a vehicle. The player then can recast it from exile. It gives the player the opponent the option to recast it. You could technically do this on something you own if you just want the card draw, or if you even want to like double an ETB and get card draw. This is a great way to do it. Anyway, whenever a player plays a card exiled with Prowl, you draw a card and convert it. So it converts to its other side, transforms if you will, and on its other side it gets a +1/+1 every time a creature enters the battlefield, I believe. And yeah, so if you're doing a +1/+1 matters deck, then that is a great card to have on both fronts. But anyway, when it's on its other side, the downside is that if they cast another card from exile, he does flip back, but you don't draw a card. Okay, so he loses the card draw on the other side, but he gains a different ability. So this a little more of a tricky one, but I think could be very useful. Anyway, 29 cents for that one. Rumor Gatherer. Okay, I think this is a fairly well-known one as well. It's newer, but yeah. It has Alliance. Whenever another creature enters the battlefield under your control, the first creature, scry 1, again, creature enters the battlefield, not you cast. So token creatures do count, okay? So if you make one token, you get to scry 1. Scrying 1 every turn may not sound amazing, but that's already an amount of card sorting that can help you a lot, right? If you need that land drop, top cards on land, put to the bottom, and then next creature you cast, you're going to draw. Okay, so it's scry 1 and then draw. That's an amazing combination, and that's just for playing creatures, right? Any creature. Playing that, and you get to draw a card. It is only once per turn again. So again, scry 1 once per turn, draw 1 once per turn. I think that's really good. But anyway, 1 and 2 white to cast, and it is a 2/1 for 17 cents. Oh, please hit like and subscribe. We've started doing budget deck techs on here as well. Which commander would you like to see? If you've got a budget commander you'd like a deck tech for, I'd love to do that. We did Ohabi Calaria in the first one. I think we're going to do Carumonix, the Rat King, next time. I can't say it, but I can build the deck. Anywho, our number 1 is Aerial Extortionist. This is one of the cheapest, if not the cheapest. Whenever it ETBs or deals damage, so it's very much like Prowl, where you're going to exile, but a non-land permanent, okay? So it's not limited to creatures and vehicles. You can do enchantment, artifact, anything really. Its owner can cast it from exile, and any spell cast from anywhere other than the player's hand, you draw a card. This is incredible. If someone has like a bunch of Cascade or Plot or what is it called? Now I'm spacing on the Kaldheim one, but there's a lot of ways to cast from exile. So if they do any of those, you're drawing a card, okay? It's really incredible. Yeah, Foretell. Sorry, I did Foretell. Cascade, Foretell, Plot are 3 examples. They're not the only 3 by a long shot. But anything, it does have to say cast, okay? So if it says put into play, no, cast, okay? Only cast. It is a cast trigger. But if someone has Cascade, they might have multiple spells cast from their deck or from exile. I guess it is from exile, multiple times in even a turn. Every time your opponent's doing that, you're drawing a card, drawing a card, drawing a card. I have a Cascade deck. It could easily cascade 2 or more times in a turn. Getting extra card draw from your opponents doing things, that's just crazy good. Anyway, 12 cents, only 12 cents for that one. Mangara the Diplomat. The list. Mangara the Diplomat, $2. Lady of Laughter, 25 cents. Prowl Stoic Strategist, 29 cents. Rumor Gatherer, 17 cents. And Aerial Extortionist. The exile on it is incredible, and it does have, when it attacks you get to exile something, but it also has flying, so it has a built-in evasion. I think that's just a crazy good card. You can deal with threats, you can, temporarily deal with threats, you can get a whole bunch of card draw, you can basically waste people's turns, right? If you're just putting whatever is most expensive from your opponent's board into exile, and so they have to do it all over again, you're basically just wasting their turns, right? That's incredibly powerful. Anyway, yeah, that's 12 cents only. It is the cheapest one on the list. My number one is the cheapest for once. Yay! Anyway, take it easy.